Hopefully you can hear me now. Let's try that again. Welcome to the Scale Builders Guild. Welcome to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully you can hear me now. How about now the camera's out of focus? What an incredible start, just like any good video. How's that looking and sounding? Laggy a lot. Sound but bad lag. All right. We're going to give it one more shot. We'll restart the computer. Okay, better now. So maybe I don't restart the computer? Working. Now it's good. Okay. All right. Let's try this one more time. For the third time, welcome to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. Hope everybody's having a good... What day is it today? Tuesday. Usually this would be Lightroom Live. We haven't done Lightroom Live in a few weeks. I'll be doing Lightroom Live soon. What we're going to do is I'm going to go to a monthly schedule on that. We'll be doing Lightroom Live once a month, and we're going to try to make it a little more interactive. There'll be lots more interactivity. We'll be showing sort of like up here or over here somewhere one of the photos that's coming up next, so everyone can kind of comment on what they would like to see in that photo, and then we'll correct that photo. And that way there's a bit more interactivity. Lagging again. Well, then I am going to restart the computer because I think that's probably the best thing to do. Stand by, folks. Stand by. Not here. Great on your end. Okay. Maybe if you guys are having a lag, maybe try restarting the, refreshing your browser. That's probably going to be my best suggestion. If it's working fine on everybody else's end, let's just leave it at that. So, like I said, Lightroom Live once a month, lots more interactivity, and it should be really great because now there is a link that I will be putting in the description to a forum post that has all of the posts or all of the pictures that I've corrected. So there you go. We can blame Josh. He's using up all the Wi-Fi. I don't disagree. He probably is. I think it's the shirt. It's breaking this shirt again. All right, so what we're working on tonight is the Ampro Sand Scorcher, and there's been a lot of progress. I'm just gonna pull up the, here, I'm gonna get the lights going because I forgot to turn those on. Shocker. Yeah, hit the hit the light button when I hit the like button. Man, oh man. All right. So let's swap over to the other camera here quickly. And I'll get you a good look at what's been going on with the Sand Scorcher. So many things. The last time you saw this, it was just a shell of a Sand Scorcher. But here it is. There's been a lot of paint done. That's the main sort of side panels are painted now. You can see that. I painted all the wheels and tires are on. These are the original Sand Scorcher wheels, and they're red now. I decided to go with full-on red wheels because I'm trying to match this guy right here. So it's got this sort of racing white side panels here, which I've already done. I'll be masking those off in the next steps and doing this nice metallic blue on the rest of it. You might notice some of the things about the body have changed. Stand by one moment, please. Before I show you what's under there, because lots of cool stuff. You'll notice that the front fenders have been trimmed, and that was sort of in an effort to match that fender. It's got a little more of a curve in it, but that's not bad. That's pretty good. It's also got a cut on the rear fender. So I matched that as well. And then there's also a cut on the inner part of the front fender as well, and I did that as well. Yes, this beer's for Shippy. Miss you, effer. Also, just a tiny thing. It's not really like a major difference or anything that's, I would say, is really, really cool. But I made it so the sunroof is slightly open, and I just put a little tiny triangle of styrene at the front on both sides, and now it just kind of sits open. I thought that was kind of a cool look, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Pretty simple. The rear lights are on. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done in terms of detail and paint. And then, of course, all of the 69, dude, on the doors and all the type and everything. We'll get all that on there. I can't decide if I'm gonna try to cut masks for those letters and stuff and then paint them on, or use stickers and then clear coat after the stickers are on. So I need some help deciding on what would be best for that. Otherwise, yeah, there hasn't been much done to the body other than those minor trims and some paint and some little bit of detail work. So that's the body. Jerry Volpini, thanks for the $5. Loving the Scorcher. Thanks, man. I'm really having an awesome time with it. Oh, shoot. I realized I left a piece outside because I was priming the motor. Maybe I'll get this. I'll see if Rebecca can bring that in. Actually, you know what? I'll just run up and get it in a minute. Josh, hello. Scaled chip brush painted. So here is the chassis. And if you watched last week's episode, you know that this is pretty much not a Sand Scorcher anymore in terms of the chassis structure. Ampro Engineering did this incredible design to replace that entire piece because it was pretty flexible and not great, and this just makes it so much more scale realistic because now you can have this full cage which is printed from Shapeways, and I've actually gone to the trouble of sanding and then priming and then painting that, so now that's all aluminum or steel. Looks pretty good because it kind of matches the actual metal that is included here. So plastic, metal, all 3D printed. Did some detail painting. So we've got our rear view mirror done and our sun visors are in there. You can see that it's actually clamped at the back here onto the existing roll cage. And that was part of Alberto's design to make sure that this was all going to be a nice rigid structure. So the next piece is this sort of like rear kind of firewall thing. I don't know, it's not a firewall because the firewall is in the front, but another set of pieces. It actually is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to build this structure, and it just kind of hides the motor and all the back part of the chassis from the interior. So now you have this nice full interior here, where you can see there's the shift boot is right there, and this nice platform for seats. And one of the things that Ampro suggested was to use the Tamiya, or not the Tamiya, the axial Wraith seats, which I actually have a set of here. These are a reproduction. They're not the axial ones. Don't judge me. But the hobby shop locally had them in stock. So they fit in there perfectly. They go right over that sort of seat stay location there. And tons of room for a real full-sized 10th scale driver, which I will probably add at some point. So very, very cool. Seats look great in there. Only missing a good coat of Flex Seal white. Does Flex Seal come in white? Is this the regular Tamiya bug? Yes. It started as one mech guider, and it's a hard body, not Lexan. I don't... I'm trying to... This is 2021, right? So trying to not do a lot of Lexan this year, except for the van body, which I sort of promised myself I would finish. Okay, so one of the other things to kind of show off here is the rear suspension. Originally, it was like a torsion bar, and you have to lose the torsion bar because of this new scale chassis. So I was sort of like, well, what do I do? I like the look of these tiny little friction shocks, and they're not even actually technically a friction shock, and they don't hold oil, no matter what anybody says. So what I did is, in the original kit, and let me see if I can find it in the instructions here really quickly. In the original instruction manual, there is this whole mechanism box, like this whole thing here. It's clear, and it uses these little like push spring covers or mechanisms to kind of, you press down the whole thing, and it's sort of a friction fit, but it keeps everything kind of sealed from dust. Now, I took those tiny springs and I put them inside the rear shocks, and you actually get a usable amount of suspension travel out of it. It's not a ton, but it's, you know, for all intents and purposes, this isn't going to be much of a performance-based vehicle, but just to have a little bit of suspension travel and the noise of springs is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted out of this. So that's pretty much wrapped up the rear suspension. Like you all remember when I was building this Johnson motor, it's got a Johnson in it. So, okay, on to a few other things electronics wise. All of the electronics are fit right up front. The steering servo is in there. Mine's a bit too long, so I'm going to need to get a shorter profile servo, just so I have room between the stripper pole and the steering arms for clearance. So I'm going to need to move that steering servo back a little bit. It just needs a slightly shorter servo and maybe different towers or posts for mounting that servo, and then it should all tuck back there quite nicely. ESC is in there. This is just one of Tamiya's brushed or brushless units. If it's brushless, don't use the orange wire. That's it. And then you're probably saying to yourself, how do you get all these wires from the front to the back? Well, if you look on the underside, this is where this chassis kind of really shines. There's this battery door here, so plenty of room for a 2S battery with a lot of milliamp hours actually. And then all the wires get routed through a couple of tunnels between the sides of the battery. So there is the plug for the battery right there, and then this plug for the or these two wires for the motor leads, and then this wire here, that's for the on-off switch. The on-off switch is located here on the back. And you're like, well, what the heck? Why would you put that there? Well, Ampro includes on one of the detail packages a tiny, 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 you can see it right here, little Futaba old school controller. And that's the wheel for it right there. So what you do is it has a little tab on the back of it. You glue that onto where the switch is, and then that becomes the switch, which is pretty slick, I have to say. That is a pretty cool feature that Alberto built into this chassis, and I think it's just like a real nod to the vintage kind of feel that this vehicle has. So that's how that works. There's also a couple of other detail parts on here. This is the horn doodad for the steering wheel. That's the cap for the steering wheel. These are armrests, and then those are the window and door opener, closer, dealia doos. Some very technical knowledge today. So those have all been primed and detail painted using Vallejo and my Molotow chrome pen. So that is some of the interior bits. There's also a cute little shifter with the see if we can get that to focus. With the shift gates marked on it, which is pretty neat. There's also these great door panels, which I've already pre-painted here. So that's the metallic blue, which matches the back here, and the racing white on the door panels. So metal door panels, that's why they're painted that color. There's also a little chrome accent along the edges there. And those get glued into the body once the body is done being painted. And it's just sort of fits right in there like that. There we go. So you can see it. That's going to be pretty neat. I'm looking forward to having those in there because it's just another nice detail. When everything's all sealed in there, you get a really nice kind of look at the vehicle itself. It even has the Wolf's... That's right, Travis. It has the Wolfsburg emblem on the horn button, which I think is pretty accurate. What else can I talk about here? So motor leads come off the motor, and I just extended the wires from the Johnson to all the way up to the front. So that'll plug into the ESC once I get that all wired up. And now I think the final kind of cool part that I've done so far is the dash, which is pretty crazy cool. Lots of really detailed parts on there. All the gauges are going to light up. I painted the gauges and then just used some 1500 grit sandpaper to get the letters to be exposed to the clear plastic underneath. All painted again to match everything else. So the metallic blue and the racing white. And there's also a little key on there. You can sort of pick that out, that detail down there on the lower left there. And a bunch of knobs and stuff. I think it's going to be awesome once it's lit up. I got a white LED for the speedometer, and then I did a red LED for all of these sort of temperature or oil or whatever. So that's all done too. And then you can also see the pedals in there too. We did like a hang 10 foot for the Go Fast pedal, which I think is pretty awesome. It's all kind of coming together. There are a few elements that I was going to do some detail work on with you tonight. And before I do that, I should go grab the motor from outside so I can show that off too. So bear with me for about 5 minutes or so. I'll put this example here so you can sort of see what I'll be kind of finishing with. And put your questions in the chat. It'll only be 5 minutes. Here we go. So I don't think... My house is big. Calm down. Not 5 minutes, though. I put these parts out on... when I was doing the Instagram this week. No Scorcher would be complete without a Knight Customs motor. And this I printed on the Prusa at 0.7, so pretty fine detail. Or 0.10. 0.10 maybe? 0.07? Maybe 1 minute. What are we supposed to do now? Anyway, this is a very accurate air-cooled Volkswagen V-dub motor done by Knight Customs, James Knight. This is available on the My Mini Factory. You can also get it on Shapeways. Quack RC, thanks for the $2. Hey, dude, that thing is radtastic, man. Wicked. Hang 10. Yeah, so this is a pretty cool piece. And of course, to match the full size, I got the straight up stand-up pipe, which I thought looked so badass, and is going to look awesome on the back of this Sand Scorcher once I get to that point. It's a pretty tight fit, and I can't remember if you're supposed to use this whole back cage or not. I presume that you are. Harley Designs Prusa shipped today. That's awesome. That's good news. Wolfsburg emblem was on all VW models until somewhere in the 90s. Okay, very cool. Thanks for that, Andy Mueller. So yeah, this motor, once painted and detailed, is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to having that in there. And I think it's just going to kind of complete the whole look because, of course, the full size also has that motor, right? He added one of those like diesel like wheat things. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to detail all of this up. One thing to kind of add to the scale realism, I really should have some distributor cap wires, right? Like, obviously it's going to be kind of blank without them. So I've got some really thin gauge wire here that I'm going to use to kind of, detail it out a little bit, add some more wiring and stuff so it's all kind of there. Exhaust clapper. That's what it's called. Thank you, SFL RC24. A flapper, also from RC Addict. Rain cap. That's another flipper flapper. Who's it? What's it? So anyway, yeah, a little bit of detail work I think is going to go a long way on this vehicle. Rear cage needs to go. Yes, well, it's not on the real car, so we'll probably have to lose it off of the fake tiny car as well. Okay, so yeah, that's where we're at. I was actually going to detail and paint a couple of items while you watch, because that's always fun, isn't it? It's to keep the rain out. Right. Rear cage needs to go. I think you're right. I think we should probably ditch it. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. There we go. Gives you a nice good view of the steering wheel. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of work and go through the chat as we go here. So if you've got questions, if you want to know anything, Josh will paint it for you. If you guys want to know anything about this Sand Scorcher or anything else that I might be working on, by all means, toss me a chat. And I'll do my best to answer. These fine detail parts, it's pretty amazing how finely detailed they are. They really come out nice. In order to get everything to sit properly, you do have to make sure you trim off any of the little tabs from the printing process. But that's pretty good. And then we're going to get this to sit probably right in there. Yeah, that's a pretty good fit. How do you define chuffed? Well, Josh, I don't know that there's an easy way to define it. Grabbing some glues. Today I'll be using a combination of Bob Smith Industries Insecure, which is just a CA, and then I've also got my glue and glaze, which I use all the time on parts where I don't want any of that kind of crazing that happens with CA. Anyway, to answer your question, I don't have a, you know what, anytime I'm really, really, really pleased, anytime I'm super happy, I would say that's a good moment for being chuffed. Sort of like, when you're like, huh, I did a good job on that. That's being chuffed, in my opinion. Little dab will do ya. I was hoping you were going to do Lightroom Tuesday today. Yes, I know. I did mention at the beginning of this thing that Lightroom Live will come back. It's not gone forever, but we're going to do it more on a monthly basis rather than a weekly basis. It's a lot of work to do that show. And I don't want to not do it. I definitely want to keep doing it, but I have to kind of make it a little more manageable for my time. And we'll definitely get back on it. So not to worry. That'll be coming back. It's a virtual guarantee that it'll be coming back. I'm not sure. Maybe the first Tuesday of every month. Let's say that's what we're gonna go for. All right, so putting the Wolfsburg cap on there. There we go. Is that gonna hold? Yes. Focus. There we go. That looks pretty good. I'm dead chuffed to have won. Yeah, jazzed, chuffed, very pleased. Yeah, those are all good answers. So there we go. That's the steering wheel, detailed and ready to go. Will anything be flex sealed on the Sand Scorcher? No. Is next Tuesday the first Tuesday of the month? No. God, I hope not. I feel like we just started. All right, so that can go in there. Completes the whole dash look, which is pretty nice. I think that looks pretty good. Like a baffle on top? No. Super trap, no. I'm chuffed I didn't buy the VS410 that Josh was working on. Yeah, no kidding. That thing was a mess. I'm not gonna lie. I was rather unpleased with that whole thing. That was not what I think anybody wanted to see. Sorry, I'm just getting my paint pan here. It's always handy to have one of these around. These are like 99 cents and really great for painting and stuff. I'm just going to detail up the whatchamacallit, the Futaba. They were sort of a brownish beige kind of color. I think it's actually pretty close to this dark earth, actually. So see you next Tuesday. Oh, I get it now. I forgot all about it. Hey, if you haven't already, hit that like button, please, and thank you. That would be extremely helpful. And if you don't like the video, you can hit that button too. I think that's probably actually pretty good color. Man, it's pretty close. Maybe we'll add a touch of this white. Chuffed sounds like a method of smoking or snorting paint fumes. No, it's not. It's a British term for just being like really pleased and happy. That's all. Nothing nefarious by any means. So I just mixed up these two colors here and trying to get close to that Futaba kind of brownish beigey green that I remember these being. That might actually be a little too light. So maybe we'll get a touch of, where do I want to go with this? Not dark earth. Maybe we need a touch of olive drab, actually. That'll help. Chuffed. When you win a stay in state court over the county court without a lawyer doing anything for you. I don't think that's correct either. Hi, Francesco. Are the pigments that you use for the Rift Cage okay even for ABS? It will not work on ABS as far as I know. It has to be like a nylon base in order for the dye to absorb into the plastic. I think Tamiya's stuff is too hard. Uses too much glass or... that's a pretty good color, actually. That's pretty close. It doesn't have the right kind of compound, so I wouldn't suggest using it, if I'm honest. Where's the focus here? Let's see if we can get this to focus, because this is pretty small stuff. I should almost be wearing my magnifiers. This thing is so small. But I think we can get away without it. That's pretty good color. That's pretty close to the real deal. What a cool thing, huh? This becoming the switch for the on-off. I think that's really, really ingenious. And it's a nice little detail part that really kind of makes this thing come alive, which is pretty neat. Alberto, you did your homework. Video, did I ignore you? I'm sorry, Wes. What did you say, my friend? There's a lot of chat flying through. Josh said he bought the Flex Seal truck to save some other person from buying a messed up VS410. Yeah, I would say mission accomplished for sure. Because that thing was messed up. And not just like... Yeah, like the Flex Seal, not a great idea, obviously. But, man, oh man... It was just like everything about that was an absolute disaster. Just a mess. Rusty's RC Garage, I'm using Vallejo Model Air, which is a thinned version of their paint that's generally used for airbrushing, but I find it goes on pretty smooth for brush application and all the fine detail stuff. It's looking pretty Futaba-esque. I can't remember. I think the wheel is just black. So let me get out my finer brush than the one I was just using. What am I got here? This is an 030. And this was a 000. So this one's actually a little thicker. And I think we'll just use a little tiny bit of black for that one. A few of us wonder what a Gulliver might be. Again, I think it's a British term, but I think it's just sort of like a generic term for like I don't know, like I don't know, guys. It's sort of one of those weird things. That really chuffs my Gulliver. It's like a euphemism, but it's not like a dirty one. It's just a thing that people would say. That Flex Seal episode was hard to watch. It was like a cringe-worthy episode of Josh's Friday night stream. Nicole seemed very upset, but I think that's pretty natural. Yeah, it did not look like a good-looking truck. I did get a WPL. I did spend $60 on mine. I bought it at my local hobby shop. He was like, "Hey, we got this thing in. You want one of these?" And I was like, "No." And then I was like, "I guess." I was so reticent to buying one for the longest time, and then I ended up buying one. Francesco Alberto lives in Southern California, I believe. He just has an Italian name, I presume. He might be Italian. I don't know his roots. I bet you never thought you'd be sitting here watching someone paint. But you are. So thanks for watching. Hi, Toby. Your Sand Scorcher is looking really good. I'm working on the new 4Runner I picked up yesterday. The motor cover looks really good. Yeah, it does. RC 4-wheel drive did a good job of molding out a 22RE. Pretty popular motor for that era. 85, 86, 87. Kind of works for all of those eras, which is pretty good. Sean, I didn't see your question. I'll do my best to answer it. If you could ask it again or go back. Maybe I'll go back. I'll go back. Sean. I'm not seeing it. So I'm sorry I missed it. Must have been a while back there. Sorry about that, Sean. Ask your question again, and I will definitely get to it. Happy little trees, happy little parts on happy little trees. Okay, let me wash out these brushes. I usually use my airbrush cleaning jar here, just because it's nearby and handy. Where'd my paper towel go? Hi, Chris Gasca. How are you from Salinas Valley? Scalers? Timestamp 9:02. Yep, we're watching paint dry. What's the footprint of my 3D printer? Wes, it is, in terms of like its overall space, it's not that many squares. It's probably like 18 squares wide at the most by roughly the same depth. It's not big. It doesn't have a huge print volume, but it doesn't really need a huge print volume because I don't build a lot of giant things. Approximate price for all the Ampro pieces? Sean, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that, but if you go on to his Shapeways store, all the prices are listed there. I'm sure that they vary country to country. I'm sure that's how that works. You need your better half refereeing the questions. Yeah, I totally do. RC Mask Master, why do you start up so many more projects when you already have 20 going? Good question. It's not about roadblocks. It's sort of about staying fresh when I do stuff. So, for example, if I were to just try to hammer through one build entirely all at once, I think I would burn out. So this way I have something different to go on to whenever I feel like it's time to do something different. And, this gives me an opportunity to sort of share things in progress too. Because what happens usually is I get pretty hardcore into a project and then I forget to take pictures or I forget to video any of it, and then it's done and I've forgotten about it, the whole thing, and then I've missed out and everyone else misses out and it's not that fun. So this way I'm keeping it fresh, I guess you could say. And I like to have a lot of different projects on the go. It's very stressful. Which is definitely a thing you don't want to be stressed out, but it seems to happen a lot to me. Wes says he does the same. All right. Yeah, 22RE, basically 85 to 95 and a half in the States. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sunrise RC. He wanted to know how much the Ampro parts are. Yeah, it also, I'm not sure because Alberto sent me the STL for the main chassis part to do an FDM print to actually test that to see if it was going to work. And it does. So I'm pretty sure he's probably going to offer that as a My Mini Factory option. He might offer a couple of My Mini Factory options because there is enough here that you could probably do that. But yeah, definitely check out the Shapeways page. I think I link it in the description, actually, so you can go check that out. Josh Thompson, have I driven my Rift yet? No, I haven't. I got busy again at work, so I didn't have a good opportunity yet to do that. But I assure you, as soon as I have a free moment, I will. It was tough because I've gotten a little bit busy at work again, and I'm trying my best to sort of manage that at the same time here. So I will definitely drive it soon. I want to see what it's going to be like. You need a red and green for the dial. Yep, not to worry. I know those are up here, so I will get to that. I'm just sort of knocking out some of these black details. Yeah, this detail stuff, this chuffs my Gulliver, man. I love it. I love it. It's a lot of extra effort for something that, you know, most people won't even see. But it's just great. This is a tiny brush. This is an 030. I have a smaller one here. What is this one? 020? Is that smaller? Or does it go the other way? Here's one that's really small. Here's my 040. In comparison to this one, there's hardly any fibers even on there. Working the 000. I'm also getting paint everywhere. Do you have the magnifying glass? I do somewhere. Not handy, unfortunately. So we need a little... This is the fun part here, I think. This chaps my Gulliver. Little gunship green. I don't even need to pour these out because there's like literally just enough to get the brush wet. It's going to do it. I think it goes green, red, green on this dial. Am I right? So it goes like green there, green on this side. This is borderline insanity, painting tiny pieces like this. I'm not a model painter, so my skills are definitely not that great. But it's, you know, it's fun. I like doing tiny detail work. A metal pin. Yes, I have done that before too, Wes. When the brushes are too big, get out a pin. Yeah, and depending on the brush quality, like if it's sable, it's usually pretty good. If it's acrylic or artificial, you don't really get the same effect. And then red in the center. I think that's how I remember it being. Oh, that's pretty good. All right, let's snip that control wheel off, and we'll assemble this. Hey, so fun, so fun. Blow on it. Where did my snippers go? My snippers are gone. There's too many things on this desk. Actually, it's not even really that messy. This is pretty clean. Oh, there they are. They were hiding. I am looking forward to driving that Rift. I am. I know we already talked about it, but I am excited about it. Okay, so before we go too far, I'm just going to snip off, just scrape off the back side of that thing there so we get a nice smooth action. And then the wheel, we should snip that. Okay. Snip off this piece here. Goodbye forever. And then, it's so small. Put a little tiny dab. Francesco Sequenza, thanks for the 549 euros. Thanks for helping me. Thanks for helping being better modelers. You and Josh are amazing. We know you have a life, but would also appreciate an early streaming time. Yeah, that's one other thing I was thinking of. Doing a European-specific stream so we can actually interact with some of our European fans over on the other side of the world. We will definitely do that. That is a great idea. Oops, I meant to smooth this out back a little bit more. Lots of time before that glue dries, not to worry. Oh man, these pieces are so small. There we go. All right, let's stick that on there. And there you have it, a tiny little Futaba. And the awesome thing is, like I showed you earlier here, that's where the switch is, on and off. And this just fits. Does it? It's supposed to just fit right over that, but it's not fitting perfectly. I'll have to give it a bit of space, but that becomes your switch. Cool, right? It's so cool. That's awesome. That is super awesome. I think the switch is just slightly larger than what Alberto did on the back here. It's keyed, as you can see. We just need to make that. Maybe I'll just make the switch slightly smaller. Might be easier than trying to move this around. But anyway, you get the idea. That's sort of where that will go. Thanks for watching Scaled Photography. That is pretty cool, right? Nice little added bonus piece. So we don't need any more of that paint. Got way too much of that in the thingy here, but that's all right. These are very easy to clean and reuse like it never happened. All right, what's next? What other pieces do we have here that we can do? Because that is so slick. That's the sort of thing that might chuff someone's Gulliver. Nice touch. Yeah, definitely. Hi, Kevin. How are you doing? All right, so let's do these door panels here. I already did a run of Molotow on the trim bit, but let's do the trim bits. Let's do a little tiny bit more on there. These Molotow pens come in a lot of different widths. If you've watched any of Wes's things over on Wes Made Builds on his channel, he uses this a lot. And you can actually get a, like he says, you can get a refill of just the paint. And you can use that instead of the pens, because the pen nibs aren't the best. They're okay, but they don't hold their shape very well. And they also don't load up with chrome very well either. So I would highly recommend, and you might also mess up and get chrome where you don't want it. But that's working pretty well. I should probably just put it down. All of these details are so great, but I also feel like I'm overdoing it because I'm going to weather this whole car too, because it's got to match the reference, and the reference is in dire need of a cleaning. But all this stuff is meant to be there, so you might as well put it on when you can. Can you get these on Amazon? I don't know. Can you get them on Amazon? Yes, Amazon. All right. Good stuff. Just ham-fisted on. Should just smash that thing on there. Now I need to quickly look up a reference because I don't remember what panel goes where. I was looking at interiors before, and it looks like that's never going to load. Don't you hate it when you find a reference? Okay, so it goes door handle. My phone is so dark. Door handle on... Handle here and then opening thing there. Okay. Okay. Let's get to it here. So that's going to go there. And they always look like they're in the up position, so we'll put it up there. And then, actually, let's put it this way. And then this is supposed to go that way. Fun. No, I've never seen the mirror stuff before, Wes. I'll have to investigate. Speaking of, we need to do a running video of the LS Post. That thing is so close to being done. I just have to do the bumpers, and then we're finished with that one too. And then the little door handle thingy. Adorable. Let's glue those in place now that we know that they fit. Need a stronger servo for your Mojave, eh? Stronger than what comes with it, I presume, eh? I mean, anything in like the 300 ounce inch. I don't know much about like fast servos. I feel like you want something sort of fast-ish in that vehicle to be able to make it turn quickly. So that's my recommendation. Something with a bit more torque in the 300 ounce inch range, and then something that is also going to have a bit more speed to it as well. One thing about Molotow paint, or the chrome stuff, don't try to touch it when it's wet. Actually, don't touch it ever. Don't ever touch it again. Once you've put it on, do your best to never, ever touch those pieces again, because the chrome will just come right off. There's also, speaking of chrome, looking at my reference here, always handy to have a reference handy. This line in the armrest actually has chrome on it too. So we're just going to do that. Ultimate in realism. All right, on to the next one. We already did that chrome, so we can put that away for a second. All these fiddly bits are fun. I'm not going to lie. It's stuff like this that, you know, makes the whole model worth it by the end. All the little bits and pieces. All the stuff that Josh would lose. He'd instantly, like, he'd open up the package or he'd, like, break a piece right away. That's just how I imagine him to do it. I hope he's still watching. Stabby Josh, do you know of a clear coat that won't yellow or fog the chrome? I bet you automotive clear coat, like the stuff I use from Roberts Paint Care, that stuff is amazing. Nice and thick, and does not yellow over time because it's automotive based. So it's pretty legitimate. What was Josh saying there? Door handles do not make you faster. Does chrome pens make you faster? I heard chrome makes you faster. There we go. Inner door cards pretty much done. A nice future floor polish, that also works. That's more for static models. I imagine it would also work for regular RC models. Why wouldn't it? Okay, so let's get those out of the way. What other parts can we detail here? Oh, yeah, the emergency brake. Let's do that. What color would the chrome won't get you home? Good one. All clad clear coat will not tarnish either. Any ideas? It looks like it's just black plastic with a white button on this. So let's do that. This is just a black primer, sort of like a not totally flat. It's a little bit semi-gloss. Sheffield Scratchy, you want to see the chassis, do you? Okay. Let's take a look at the chassis then. Here is the chassis. The main piece that you're probably more curious about is the underside here. That's the Ampro chassis right there. So keeps the original rear transmission and suspension bits, keeps the front suspension, and then just replaces the entire center section. So that's it. Cool. Cool. Hope that helps. Of course, there's a battery door for that too. So, there you go. Super Greg, I noticed below the headlights is all white. That actually isn't. It's just a bad printer. Bad printer. This is the same metallic blue color. What was I doing? Oh, yes. Emergency brake. Maybe we'll do... Actually, we're going to do this part black. So fun. It's fun to paint things. I'm glad I went and got the motor. Could probably actually do a little bit of work on that tonight too, depending on how far we get. We'll see. I mean, this is pretty riveting stuff. Yeah, it's a fun conversion. I'm like really super pleased because I've always wanted a Sand Scorcher, but I think I kind of hated the fact that it was just sort of like the shell of a Sand Scorcher and didn't have any of the detail. And now that this kit is out, it's kind of changed all that. So it's definitely much more what I was kind of hoping for from the original kit. I mean, still all the nostalgia of the original kit because it's going to drive like absolute garbage. Yeah, it's going to be super, super, super awesome to look at. And great for photos. Maybe we'll kick off the first episode of Lightroom Live once we get back into the groove on that with the Sand Scorcher as the first photo. That would be kind of fun. Base of the hand brake should be a black rubber boot. Okay, I'll make sure that that's definitely a different shade of black. Or gray, maybe. Like a super dark gray. Okie dokie. Cool. Drives like garbage, looks awesome. Everybody's car on Instagram. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I've got this dark gray blue that actually looks pretty good. Paint slower. Sean, I'm painting as slow as I can. Yeah, come on, dummy. We don't have all night. Wait, we do. We're not going anywhere else. Welcome to Matte Paints. You know what? I'm going to add some black into there. Because that's the beauty of mixing your own paints. Hello, Sledgehammer. That's a good screen name. Have I done other painting hobbies like Warhammer? No. Is that all you're supposed to do with that stuff? I thought there was like a whole game that went with that. Is it just about painting the models? Please tell me that's not true. That would be like a total waste. But no, I haven't. I have a bunch of Citadel paints, though. Because those paints are actually pretty good. They're pretty good for this sort of like detail brushwork, and they have a lot of different like effects kind of paints. Like they do like there's one that is like a base coat, and then there's like layering bases and all kinds of cool stuff. So you can do some pretty neat stuff with that brand. Definitely got me out of a few jams. Painting jams. Painting is a huge part of it. Yeah, I kind of figured that was the case. Oops, I'm painting off camera again. Sorry, guys. Not that you care. Not that it's not like super awesome to watch somebody paint such tiny things. I'm sure it's quite boring, actually. But we're here for the conversation. The riveting conversation. There we go. I'll try to paint a happy little tree in the corner. It's going to be tight. Not a lot of space on here. At all. Hey, RC Patina guy. How you doing, buddy? Sheffield Scratchy, do you have a question there? Can somebody help me out? What do you need? Matt, I'm wanting to pinch the front fenders of my RC four-wheel drive Blazer body. Would a heat gun be easier to use, or should I cut them and glue them? Definitely cut them. In the Road to the Scale Nationals, in one of the episodes of that series, I do a pinch on an 80 series body for the Jelly Bean. You should watch that, because there's more to it than just cutting the fenders and then cutting out a section and gluing it back. You might have to extend the hood to compensate, because it does get as it gets narrower, it gets longer. That's what she said. So yeah, that might be worth you checking out. So yeah, I would definitely look at that. Just getting... What do you think... You know what, Adam? That's a good question. What do you think Shippy did for a living? My guess is not race Baja Beetles. He probably had a full-time job. The truck or the car's from Oregon. So what's out in Oregon? What do people do there? What's a sort of what's a typical job in Oregon from, like, let's say 15 years ago? Sheffield Scratchy, I'm wanting Metal Gears for my MF-01X. Where can I buy them from? I have no idea. If Tamiya doesn't stock them, I don't know where you would get them, because I don't think that's a standard part. Gosh, this white button, honestly. Lumber? Maybe he worked in forestry. That's a good suggestion. And like him and his brother would build this car, and that would be sort of their thing on the weekends. Easy with that tip. Just the tip. Gray matter fab, just the tip. You think he was a fisherman? Is Oregon on the water? Yes. Shaking paint, bad sound effect. Shippy was a lumberjack. He could have been. That could have been a thing he was. Why not? You guys want me to do the shifter? What color is the shifter in these cars? It appears to be black with a white logo, or white ball on the end. So let's do that. I already have some black out. Perfect. I like it when it's an easy color like black. Just slap it on. Did you know that there was a shortage of black Tamiya paint? Lots of places were out of stock because it's like one of the most popular colors to use on models and RCs. So it was one that was actually pretty hard to get for a while. Saltwater fisherman in the North Pacific. He ran a church for loggers. I don't know. Based on the language on the side of this car, I doubt very much he ran a church. More importantly, how do you think he died? A lumberjack incident. He was fishing and he was eaten by a kraken. Make it an 8-ball. It's already got the shift gate markings on it, so I can't do that, unfortunately. But we will do some detail painting on that. Boy, oh boy. That sounds fun. Gonna go bug CCXRC. Tell him I said hi. Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife for sure. That actually sounds like a pretty noble profession for him. Poor old Shippy. Probably wasn't old. I bet you he was a fairly young chap. And through a series of unfortunate circumstances, found himself in a compromising position, and that's the end of it. Miss you, Shippy. I hear Flex Seal has a nice deep black color. God, that truck. I think Josh is right not to sell it. Because, you know, it was a mess. Who would buy it? He was a professional 69er. Oh, man. That's terrible. I hope he wasn't. Shippy was hard of hearing. Shippy said, "Timber! Shippy, get out of the way, Shippy! Shippy, oh no, Shippy!" Okay. We'll probably do another coat of that in a minute here. I didn't even know, like, all I thought Flex Seal was like that tape. Like you just like slapped it on pipes and stuff. I didn't know it was like a thing you could put on as like a spray. I didn't know it was that thing. I don't know much about Flex Seal. I've never used it. What other Tamiyas do I have? In this room at the moment, I have a dual rider. Oh, I have that semi behind me. What else? That is it. In here, upstairs, I've got one of those race trucks. I've got the Yaris, which some people suggested I should have been building tonight. I've got an XV01 Lancia Delta Integrale, which is going to get the full night customs touch as soon as I have some time to work on that one. There's another Tamiya up there, which I'm not going to spill the beans on quite yet. What else? Oh, that's a good point. Vidjo, the name tells us everything we need to know about his profession. With a name like Shippy, it's not Skippy, it's Shippy. The ocean calls you. So he was probably a professional shipbuilder. Or he worked in a brick ship house. I'll show myself out. Will you show us how you attach driver figures to Lexan? Probably not tonight, Emmons. I don't think I've done that. If anything, it's just a dab of shoe goo on their butt. And that's all you really need to do. Shippy is a surname in England. Like your name might be Basil Shippy? Or he built tiny boats in glass bottles. Yeah, that's fisherman. I mean, that makes a lot of sense too, Shippy. That's probably more likely. What is the third hand I have here? I've had this for like 25 years. I don't remember where it came from or who gave it to me. I think my wife got it for me. Maybe not 25 years, maybe 18 years. I've had it for a while. But it does the job. Or, ooh, Randall, that's a good thought. Maybe Shippy works in the shipping department at Vanquish. Sheffield, I like the dancing dual rider. They're fun. They're an easy build. It's like really super quick. It's not going to be a challenging build by any means. Let's see can we get that to focus? No, of course not. I'll paint it carefully. Easy. Mate. That's the beauty of these SLS printed nylon bits. The clear is just so, like, you get so many great details. It just picks them all out. Focus. Yes. Look at that. Perfect. I don't think you can really classify the dancing riders as a scale because it's not something that exists in real life. I'm sure they classify it as 10th scale, but nothing is really 10th scale anymore. Especially in our hobby, most of these things are like 9th scale or better. Oh, that paintbrush is gone forever. A supportive wife, imagine that. Where can I find one of those? They're hard to find, David. Makes sense he probably used the money from being promoted from cardboard, bitch. Shippy, we need you to... That's what Josh should start calling the new cardboard guy, Shippy. Or Dan, actually. Dan does a lot of the shipping, so maybe that's something that we could call Dan from now on. All right, so shift knob, parking, or not parking brake. Yeah, parking brake, emergency brake. That's done. So that would go between the seats. Oh, my hands are too short. Should have just taken it in from the side. Dummy. Yes. So that fits right there. Shift gate thingy shifter. I'm going to leave that for a second because that's still probably moist. Moist, my favorite word. What else? I don't really want to start up the airbrush because it's noisy. But man, this is all really starting to come together here. We're starting to get a real car out of here. Yours is still mad at you for buying a 3D printer. Well, print her a diamond ring. Get her something that'll make her happy. Make a flower vase, David. Right? Go here, baby. I got these for you. Hey, baby, I love you. Or just buy her a present. That's usually what I do. When I want something nice for myself, I just get Rebecca something too. Maybe his name was Chip, but his mom had a... Yeah, maybe. A speech impediment of some type. Shippy! Shippy! Shippy, get in here! What, Mama? I wonder if we can hollow out some of this by hand without breaking anything. I'm trying to open that up a little bit so there's more room. I don't want to break it though. Blow on it. Nope. Still too big. I'll have to really go to town on that, maybe with the Dremel later. Yeah, get some shiny filament. I used, for this chassis actually, I used the Prusament, what is it? It's like some sort of silver. It's got a little flake to it, so it actually comes out quite shiny, which looks really good. But yeah, all the pieces are coming together in there. That dashboard looks, oops, friggin' sick. Just glue a scale bong to fit the era. And the hole is covered. What hole? Oh, I'm also going to get inner fenders. That's not part of this kit, and Ampro doesn't offer them. But I thought it would be a good idea to have them, because that way you can sort of hide all of the front end of the electronics too. So that's definitely on the list of things to get. Yeah, good point, Travis. I hope wherever Shippy is, he's enjoying all the chat immortalizing him in the RC world. Yeah, 100%. And I appreciate his brother for giving us some really cool inspiration for building this cool Beetle. That is an awesome tribute, I think, to Shippy. A fellow scale model enthusiast. Also possible. Not likely, but possible. That's so crazy. I'm so happy with how that looks. Made it a lot easier than just trying to paint it, that is for sure. I feel like some of these details I should have added prior to putting the roll cage on. But I don't know, looks like it's going to fit in there quite nicely. Why won't you go in? Where do the inner fenders come from? There are a few guys on Shapeways that have them. I just got to track them down. I don't remember the names right now, but I do know that. Look at that. Look at that. So good. But they are, yeah, they're definitely on Shapeways. I'll track them down, and once I find them, I will, because we'll do a follow-up kind of like final video on this build once it's all done, showing off all the little bits and pieces that I've done to it. Just a 5-speed? Well, it is a vintage Beetle, so it's probably all you would get. Hi, Max. Hi, Craig. Let's tack that on there for now. You can see that. So fun. Building the Lancia as well. My Mini Factory Night custom set does come with everything, but front bumper is for a different chassis. Only on Shapeways they've got the XV01. Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I knew that. I think James doesn't offer it for the XV01. He offers it for the TT01 or whatever it's on before. That hole right there on the switch. That's what you're talking about, Chris. Okay. No kilobits per second. There, we're back. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit of lag, but we're back. Yeah, we're back 100%. Picking up frames for Shippy. Shippy's haunting us from the other side. I'm sorry, Shippy. You know what? Since we're kind of like done on detail stuff for now, let's actually... Oh, I've made this extremely difficult on myself. It might be easier for me to just cut the cage at this point rather than try to take it apart. Yeah, the motor is cool, Mike. It's one of those things that when I saw it, I was like, yes, we have to do that. I'm just going to remove this plastic cage so we can get the motor cover on top, just for placement. Any teasers for tomorrow's stream? I'm on the fence between that and watching reruns of Beat Bobby Flay. Also a good show. I don't know. I think Josh and I should probably chat about that. Yes, North 49 RC. I have already done the rims in red. They have already been painted. I will show you that in a second. Just undoing these clampy clamp things so I can get the cage off the back here. We need the clamp though, so that has to go back on. There we go, that's one side. That's going to be fun to put back together. Let's come up with some ideas now. Yeah, if you have suggestions, send them our way. Red wheels to match, and I did scale hardware as well to match. And in fact, some of the bolts don't match. He's got like black bolts and, you know, not black bolts on some of them, so I've done that as well. Oh dear, that will be impossible to remove. Josh be lurking. Tomorrow's show, Matt pinches a Yaris. How are we going to get that off there? Not thinking that one through, did you, dum-dum? It's like literally no way to get at it from there. Means I have to remove everything. So annoying. Thanks for the $5, Michael 5 dime. I'm sitting here building a Tamiya lunchbox after wanting one as a child. Finally, at 45, a dream come true. That's amazing, man. That is really, really cool. Actually, I wonder... No, that's not going to work either. I have hooped myself on this. Idiot. Moose Jaws questions. We should do Moose Jaws questions tomorrow, shouldn't we, Josh? Isn't it time? I feel like it might be. Chris Quinn, will this new element have SBG stickers in it like my other element? And is so you are telling me you don't know what it is? I honestly can't remember what it is. If I knew, I've forgotten, which I think is perfect because it'll be a surprise for me too. We missed that last week. Was that supposed to be last week? See if Joe's available. How am I going to get to that bolt? Not smart. I don't think there's any way. Without removing everything, including the transmission. What a ding-dong. Hit the like button, please, folks. That would be extremely helpful. Darn it all to heck. Hecking heck. Oh, wait. Hello. I think we can probably squeeze this out. Oh, the fine. No. No, that's not going to work. I will have to go in and take that off some other way, which is so annoying. Anyway, the motor itself basically goes just like that. And then the stacks, or the exhaust pipes, go in like that. So that's going to look pretty cool on the back there, huh? I like it. What if you both did a live build on Wednesday? Gray Matter, we've talked about that. That is not a bad idea whatsoever. Definitely something that we're going to talk about doing in some way or another. So yeah, look for that for sure. That would be cool. Jose, I'm using Vallejo Model Air. That's the type of paint I'm using. Stabby Josh, save the Yaris for a live build off with Josh. We just need to talk him into ordering one or just arrange for one to show up. True. That would be cool. Don't break it. Shippy will be mad. I agree. I will not break it. But you know what? On that note, I think we've sort of accomplished a lot. I showed you a lot of bits and pieces for where this thing started, where it's gotten to, and what remains. There will be a lot of follow-ups. I'll probably do like one follow-up video that kind of goes over the whole thing once it's all done. I may try to time-lapse film some of the painting of the motor because there's a lot of really cool parts and detail work that's going to go into that. So that might be something worth covering as well. Otherwise, I think we're in pretty decent shape on this build. Lots has happened since last week. Wow, that's actually pretty shocking how much has happened. More than I thought. Let me put it that way. How's that going to sit? Yes. We might actually have to trim back some of this body because it looks like it's not going to sit quite right there. Yeah, we might have to do that. A or B, or Josh, first to answer gets the character. Yeah, we'll see. All right, I think that's going to do it for today, though. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and watching me detail up some of these parts. This has definitely been very fun. This build from Ampro is going to be so great once it's all done. I'm really, really, really excited about the prospects. So many more bits and pieces to go into it and so much more detail, and then weathering. But it's going to be really, really awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one. Tune in tomorrow night. We'll be doing a live stream takeover with Josh from Harley Designs and myself from the Scale Builders Guild. I'd like to thank Jerry Volpini, Quack RC, Francesco Sequenzia, and Michael Five Dime for their donations tonight. Thanks very much. I'm definitely going to hit the airbrush in a little bit here once we're off stream and get the rest of that cage off and get the motor back on, and we'll be there shortly. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks so much. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 9 Eastern. Love you. Bye.